I'm sure you've heard by now that everybody's worried about this new variant from India. So please don't stop taking your precautions. Limit your movement when you must go out, whether it's to work or to buy essentials. You have to wear a mask, all right? You're protecting yourself, you're protecting other people. And don't forget to keep your distance from people and wash and sanitize your hands. And hey, while you're doing that, join the 1 million Lagosians who listen to Hard Facts, because 1 million Lagosians cannot be wrong. Thank you for tuning into Hard Facts every weekday. I have a great show for you, starting with the big three. Let's talk about Governor El-Rufai declaring the NLC Chairman wanted. And then let's talk about more reactions to the Southern Governor's Asaba Accord. And then let's talk about an aide to Governor Dapo Abiodun arrested for fraud in the USA. Now, you can talk to us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. You can also talk to us on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. We're streaming live there, so you can watch the show and you can listen to the show on www.nigeriainfo.fm. So if you have to get out of the car, just keep listening online, www.nigeriainfo.fm, or simply download our app. Go to your app store, search for Nigeria Info, download the app, and listen wherever you are. Because it's Tuesday, Chukwudi Ezugu will bring you Community U Report. And on today's big hard fact, we will talk about local government autonomy. The Supreme Court just ruled against Seyi Makinde in Oyo State for sacking elected local government chairman. We're going to talk about that ruling, but we're also going to go deeper, because you remember that local government autonomy and devolution of powers are part of the restructuring conversation. So I'm going to want to hear from you about what powers you think local governments should have, how they can be protected from the bigger tiers of government. We're going to be joined by Ikemesi Tefyong, who's a lawyer. He'll be giving us the legal context for our conversation. Now, news updates will come your way at the top of every hour. If you want to win on just a minute, you have to listen to every single thing I say on this show. That's how you win. But it's time for the Big Three Lagos. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
The big weekend.
Should El-Rufai have declared Ayuba Waba wanted? Should northern states also ban open grazing? Is there a crime problem among the political elite? Those are the big three. Lagos, let's talk. Our first story is the ongoing strike in Kaduna State. I told you yesterday that NLC is protesting the state government's decision to lay off thousands of civil servants. By the way, some news that broke before I got into the studio: thugs attacked the protests. Yeah, sounds very familiar, doesn't it? So thugs pelted the protesters with stones and sticks and all kinds of things. They pelted NLC members with these who were protesting in Kaduna today. It happened about 30 minutes before I got on air. So yeah, that's what's happening in Kaduna. First, the state government said that it won't let the NLC stop government officials from working. In fact, they would arrest them for attempting it. But NLC insisted that picketing is a recognized part of strikes. Picketing is when the striking unions form a crowd in front of an office and stop workers from entering. So the showdown between the government and the union has gotten hotter. Fast forward to today, and the state governor, Nasser El-Rufai, declared the NLC chairman wanted. Here's what El-Rufai tweeted, quote, Kaduna update. Ayuba Waba and others of NLC headquarters declared wanted for economic sabotage and the attacks on public infrastructure under Miscellaneous Offences Act. Anyone that knows where he's hiding should send a message to Kaduna State Ministry of Justice. There will be a handsome reward, exclamation mark, end quote. Now, I should point out that so far, there has been no independent report of any attacks or damage of public infrastructure. The only incidents reported so far are protest marches, picketing at government buildings, including hospitals, schools, and offices, to keep them closed. Well, I mean, now you can add thugs attacking the protesters themselves. But that's not government infrastructure, that's thugs attacking protesters. And speaking of keeping these buildings closed and these institutions closed, Governor El-Rufai got into a name-calling match on Twitter over whether or not those places were closed. First, Professor Chidi Odinkalo said that they were, because remember, he's a former head of the Nigerian Human Rights Council. Yesterday at noon, he tweeted 4 pictures from the Kaduna protests. If you're watching our live stream right now, you can see the pictures that I'm showing you right now. You can see them. And Professor Chiyodinkalo said, quote, "In Kaduna State today, public schools are closed, filling stations are closed, public hospitals closed, government offices shut, there is no electricity, no water. Kaduna State University has sent its students home. El-Rufai is the man with the hashtag right size," end quote. The governor did not take kindly to that tweet, and this morning he replied it. He replied it saying, quote, "Kaduna update, Chidi Odinkalo, chartered and certified fake news merchant, false professor, and wanted for incitement, injurious falsehood, etc. by Kaduna High Court, is lying again. Number 1, all schools. Number 2, most filling stations. Number 3, public hospitals operating by noon. You are cursed," end quote. Now, there's been a lot of back and forth on Twitter about whether the governor's choice of words were appropriate, given his position as an elected official. Also, there's been an argument over who was correct, El-Rufai or Odinkalo, where most schools, filling stations, hospitals, and offices reopened by noon or not. And then there's this whole matter about declaring the NLC leadership wanted. Some Twitter users have put up pictures of El-Rufai at a protest with NLC members in the past. If you're watching on our live stream, you're seeing the picture of Governor El-Rufai before he became a governor at NLC protests. You can see some of the tweets that he shared in 2012 when Goodluck Jonathan was president. So you can see his stance on protests then. You can see him in protests with the NLC then. But now, as governor, he's saying that the protest and strike are economic sabotage. Again, there's still no independent report of any violence or vandalism during this protest. All we're seeing right now are thugs attacking the protesters. So the question is, has the Kaduna state government handled this strike properly? Has the NLC crossed any legal lines? What do you think about Governor El-Rufai declaring the NLC leadership wanted? What do you think about his Twitter exchange with Professor Chidi Odinkalo? But separate from all of that, separate from the handling of the strike, let's also talk about the reason for the strike. Do you support the government's decision to retrench civil servants due to cost of governance? Or do you agree with the NLC that it's a bad move that will damage the civil service? That's a poll that should go up, by the way. So if my team is listening, put that poll up. Do you support the government's decision to retrench civil servants due to costs of governance? Or do you agree with the NLC that it's a bad move that will damage the civil service? Women, call me on 014657190. Women, call me on 014657190. Men, call me on 0700-993-993-993. 0700-993-993-993. Hello, thank you very much for calling. Sorry about that. Call back if you can. Hello, thank you very much for calling.
Hello, good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
Yeah, President Sandra.
Good to have you here. What's your name?
My name is Paul.
Paul, welcome.
From Ikeja, yeah.
Okay.
Sandra, is a big mistake that Governor El-Rufai is making. Because what the Nigerian Labour Congress is doing is the rightful thing to do. If the cost of paying salaries is much, the political appointees, how much are they earning? Has he been able to retrench or sack a lot of them? This civil servant that he's laying off about 4,000 people, what measures are put in place for them and their families. So it is a wrong thing for him to declare him wanted. It means that this man is assuming the power he does not have. Then, concerning the professor, I think it's a miscalculation for calling that man a false professor. He's really doing the wrong thing, and he should retract that statement. This is a well-renowned professor. This is a man with intellectual capacity. This is a man that has chairman a lot of organizations and boards in Nigeria with credible results. So for him to call him a false professor, I think he has gone beyond the threat. So he should retract that and apologize. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. 99.3, hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good
Sandra.
afternoon. What's your name, ma'am?
This is Mercy from Alimosho.
Welcome, Mercy.
On El-Rufai, I think we are not in an army regime. We are in democratic regime. He shouldn't have done that. Why declaring declaring the labor man this thing wanted? He has no right to do that. On downsizing the public servants over there in Kaduna, he should have downsized people from up, the political appointees, and not the people that you are paying peanuts. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. We've got Jacob on the line. Hello, Jacob. Thank you very much for calling us today. Jacob is in Jakande. Hello, Jacob.
Hello, good evening, Sandra.
Good evening.
Yeah, Sandra, my problem with El-Rufai is, why is it that El-Rufai is, as in, it's like he's talking out of sense, because El-Rufai has forgotten what he has been doing in Nigeria. But when it's his own turn now, he's just threatening people anyhow. Why is he declaring the NLC Chairman wanted? For what? Has he forgotten what he has done? Hello?
I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
Has he forgotten what he has done in Nigeria, what he has been doing in Nigeria? That's how he has been saying that there should not be a negotiation for bandits the other time. And during Jonathan, he was the first person that talked about all this. Why is he taking everybody as stupid or what? Don't be surprised. El-Rufai is behind all this that is happening in Kaduna.
Do you have any proof? Do you have any proof of that? So you can't tell me that, Jacob. You can't come on air and say, oh, El-Rufai is responsible. Can you prove it? No, if you can't prove it, you can't allege it on a public forum like Nigeria Info. It's that simple. 0700-993-993-993. That's the number that men can call me on. Women call me on 01465-7190. Has the Kaduna state government handled this strike properly? Has the NLC crossed any legal lines? What do you think about Governor El-Rufai declaring the NLC leadership wanted? What do you think about his Twitter exchange with Chidi Odinkalo? And away from the handling of the strike, do you support government's decision to retrench civil servants due to cost of governance? Or do you agree with the NLC that it's a bad move that will damage the civil service? 99.3. Hello. All right. Sorry about that. 99.3. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Mrs. Usman.
Mrs. Usman.
Yes.
Welcome. Good to have you on the show.
You're welcome. I've been trying to get to all this why, but I'm very happy to have gotten you today.
Welcome.
I've been trying for a very long time. I like most of your program.
Thank you.
Well, what El-Rufai is doing in Kaduna is not good. He's not supposed to declare that man wanted for any reason. It would have been better for him to call them and negotiate with them.
Okay.
So that's my own contribution about it. Because by declaring wanted, get him arrested, to do what? It will escalate more issues and it will cause more harm. And Kaduna being a volatile state, because I live in Kaduna for almost 20 years, we were also one of the victims of this attack in Kaduna. Before he knows it, all these hoodlums, all these bad boys will hijack
the protest,
Hmm.
and they may turn it to religious riot or something that I didn't believe. So I believe we should not declare and wanted to just try and negotiate with them.
Okay.
That's my own contribution.
Thank you, Mrs. Usman, for calling. Adeyinka is a first-time caller in Ajao Estate. Adeyinka, welcome.
Good afternoon, President Sandra.
Good afternoon. Sandra is just fine. Welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for everything that you've been doing, for the enlightenment. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, back to the story for today of the day. You see, there's always this thing that the evil that men do lives after them. El-Rufai has forgotten in the days of Jonathan how he was championing the cause for. I mean, he was in the lead, protesting. I mean, why will he now come out to say it's I don't know that it's against the wish of his government that people should not protest? Of course, nobody is saying what he wants to do is either right or wrong, but at the same time, let him look inwardly. I mean, what happens to the overbloated, the high-rated salaries of unwanted political officers in his cabinet? And I'm sure he will have so many, what do you call it now, these SA to SAs and the rest. Let him start with those ones first, rather than touching the meager salaries of the civil servants. So if he is able to do that, I will support him in doing this other one that he wants to do. So that's just my opinion for him.
All right. Thank you very much, Adeyinka, for calling. We enjoyed that you called us. Let's quickly jump into our second story, shall we? We're still getting more reactions from the so-called Asaba Accords. That's our second story. Yeah, that's what some people are calling the decisions taken by the southern governors in Asaba a week ago. As you know, they agreed to ban open grazing in all 17 southern states and ask the president to support state police, to support new ports, devolution of power to states and local governments, along with a change to the revenue allocation formula. Now, the Arewa Consultative Forum is saying that it supports the ban on open grazing. We heard it from the ACF National Chairman, Audu Ogbe. He said the ACF supports the ban, but wants it to go even further. So they want the northern governors to ban it too. But they think it's not enough. The ACF says that most of the herdsmen who are actually violent are not Nigerians. They're bringing in their cattle from other countries. So the ACF wants the federal government to step in and stop this inflow. Now, we've talked about this so many times, and whenever we do, I point out to you that under the ECOWAS protocol, citizens can move from one country to the other freely, including those who are bringing livestock. They're not breaking any laws. International laws at least. So now the Arewa Consultative Forum is asking the federal government to review Article 3 of the ECOWAS protocol so that movement of cattle across the border can be restricted. So you see that, right? They need to tweak the laws to be able to stop foreigners from bringing cattle. Foreigners can come, but don't bring cattle. Meanwhile, the southern governors are getting more support from northern leaders on their decisions in Asaba. A group of House of Reps members from the north signed a statement declaring their agreement. They include Amos Gwama from Kaduna, Solomon Maring from Plateau, Rimande Shawulu from Taraba, Tajuddin Yusuf from Kogi, and Usman Sokodabo from the FCT. So that's the latest from the Asaba Accord. Now, I wonder what you think about the ACF's position. First of all, I want to know if you agree with ACF that the major problem is foreign herders. Do you agree with them? Second, I want to know if you think reviewing the ECOWAS protocol is the right step for stopping this. And third, tell me how feasible you think this is. Because remember that Nigeria doesn't run ECOWAS. Do you think that if the federal government closes our borders to cattle herders, that other ECOWAS countries will retaliate in some effective way against us? And if that happens, do you think that there are steps the government can take or concessions that the government can make to prevent that retaliation. Men, call me on 0700-993-993-993. And women, call me on 01-465-7190. 01-465-7190. Men, 0700-993-993-993. There's an anonymous caller joining the show right now. Hello, anonymous.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I wonder, yes, let me talk about the Kaduna State first. Now, if there's a part in the scripture that says you do unto others what you want others to do to you.
Right.
It's a classical example of what is happening to El-Rufai. During the Jonathan's era, it was all over the place. Now, when you know you cannot take this, during the Jonathan era, why did he do it? He came out as a Democrat. He preached to everyone as a Democrat. Now you come into power and you do not want people to criticize you and you act like a tyrant. It doesn't work. Secondly, the Article 3 you talked about, I do not think it works in Ghana.
Okay.
You cannot take cows roaming the streets in Ghana. I do not think so. I've never seen it there, but I do not think so. Now, this thing majorly happens here in Nigeria.
Well, Article 3 only stops you, allows you to move freely, but
Ghana does not allow you to bring in your cattle.
Well, you can bring in your cattle, but what they don't have is open grazing.
Okay, then why do we do open grazing? Well, for God's sake, in the 21st, or we're beyond all this now, and there are better ways. When you take cattle around, a veterinary doctor or someone in that field would always tell you by the time they have eaten, whatever they have in their stomach would have gone out. So why don't you just employ modern ways of doing these things? Why are we wasting our time? Then you have people from other countries who invade our space and kill our people, and we think it's enough to follow the article. If your security comes first, why don't you just take it up?
No, Anonymous, I was quite enjoying where you were going with that, but thank you very much for calling. We've got Bayo on the line. Bayo is in Egbeda. Hello, Bayo. Thank you very much for calling.
That's Sandra.
Good afternoon. Welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, fine. Okay, so like the last caller said, let me also briefly hint on that El-Rufai. Okay? See, El-Rufai is, well, to me, with due respect, but I just wanted to force my mind out. You know, he's a dictator. That's just right there.
Okay.
Remember, when you look at El-Rufai very well, way back, even while it was still civil, of course, let me say, very political now, but at least civil servant. And when he was in FCT, I think Minister of FCT and all that. You know, when you look at a lot of things that I did that time, it was all boils down to the same thing you see exhibiting now, right? And I mean, why will you be clamping down? You can imagine how will it have been if everybody happened to be a military head of state. If common elected state governor could be acting such a way like this. I mean, how will it have been if it happened to be a military head of state declaring somebody that is fighting for their fundamental rights, declaring him wanted? I mean, during the case of kidnappings there, when these Greenfield people and the other forestry whatever, how many times has he come out and said fine, he pledged so amount of money, declare the head of banditry, wanted? I mean, I don't really understand. And this is a man that was saying Jonathan that time was violating human rights. Me, I've already known him for that quite a while. I've known him for that anyway. So I just wish the Labour to continue. After all, the man said I worked freely yesterday. So what has happened? And they'll still do it. They are still doing the same thing today. So that's it for there. Then concerning the what's it called, the open grazing. Open grazing. Yes. That I've been to Ghana and I've been to Cotonou here. Even I'm talking about the closest country. There is nothing like any open grazing or any avenue by which anybody regardless of who you are in the society, there are laws that does not even permit that. And these are countries that would think they are as little as anything. So I wonder why, this thing is being practiced, it's being allowed in Nigeria fine. And I need to put myself behind, my support behind the Southern governor banning the open grazing. See, the problem is just that as if somebody has a diabetic and you have a sore, of course, maybe whether at your toe or anything, definitely they know that if the sore is not addressed, it will affect the, so they will cut it off. Of course, it's not the legs that are cut it off is the problem, but the sore. So they know that if they didn't cut it off, that will still continue and affect the whole part of the body. So that's what they are doing. If you could stop open grazing, then there won't be any reason for anybody to bring cattle from one interstate to other. And there won't be any reason for anybody to bring cattle from one nation to the other. So there will be a confinement and there will be legally backed. So I think that's the way to go by it now. If the Meati Yala within their circle, they cannot fish out the criminal element right there. Anytime we talk about it, they will say, why are they criminalizing Meati Yala? If when they kidnap one of my cousins, what's it called, family members, they hear the language they are speaking. So what are we now talking about? Who's criminalizing who? So since they have failed in that regard, so definitely let there be open grazing. I mean, let there be banning on the open grazing, and let everybody be confined. I mean, to to their home zones. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bayo, for calling. Damilola is in Aja. She's a first-time caller. Damilola, hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for waiting.
Yes, I came to the show, but it's almost surprising when Nigerians are clamoring for stop open grazing or whatever. See, something happened like 2015 or 16 when I was in Abuja. I served in Abuja. And I was coming, if you know Abuja very well, AYA is very close to the White House, headquarters of Nigeria. And I saw this young boy herding the cows very close to the white fence. I was like, hey, Damilola, if this thing can happen here, center of excellence as in the whole of Nigeria, anytime you see cow, respect the cows. Because if they cannot ban them from coming closer to this fence, then they can't ban them from any part of the country. Anytime I just see them, I respect them. Nigeria, anywhere in Nigeria, cows can go. Even if I see cow, you cross, I go my own way for my own security reason. You understand? That's just give the respect to whoever it's due to.
Okay. Thank you, Damilola. Okay, that's an interesting way to put it. We'll talk to Isaiah, and then afterwards we will talk about our final story. Trust me, our final story is a story you want to hear. Isaiah in Surulere, hello.
Hello, Sandra.
Thank you for calling.
I want to talk about El-Rufai first. What I see there is that before you remove peg for another person's eyes, you first of all remove your own.
Okay.
If you know that you want to do a dancing, you start from your own quarter, where you're cabinet together. Say you don't have money to take control of the state. You understand?
Okay.
And you did not start from your own home, and you go to the civil servant, you go and sack a lot of 4,000. That is bad. According to how the country is now, it's bad. But to stop the grazing here and there is good. That is what we need in Nigeria. Okay. Let's stop them and let everybody face his own business. That cattle is not a business of Nigeria. So it's people that are doing it. If you want to do in your state, the state government will start in own. The other states will start in own. So we can move on. And the problem will die down. All the problem of kidnapping, all this, that will vanish. That is what my contribution is.
All right, Isaiah, thank you very much for calling to contribute. By the way, we have 50% of the people who have voted on Twitter who say that El-Rufai was right to declare the NLC Chairman Waba wanted. 50% of the voters say yes, Governor El-Rufai should have declared the NLC Chairman wanted. That's the question we're asking on Twitter today. Should Governor El-Rufai have declared NLC Chairman Waba wanted? Go on Twitter and lend your voice. Go and vote. We've got 53% of the voters now saying yes, that he should have. They agree that, Ayuba Waba, the NLC chairman, should be a wanted man. Let's go to the aide or an aide of the Ogun State governor who has been arrested in America for fraud. That's our third story. His name is Abidemi Rufai. He's a senior special assistant to Governor Dapo Abiodun. He's been arrested for allegedly stealing identities of U.S. citizens and using them to collect COVID-19 unemployment benefits. Here's what the U.S. Justice Department has to say about it. Quote, a Nigerian citizen was arrested Friday evening at JFK Airport in New York on a criminal complaint, charging him with wire fraud for his scheme to steal over $350,000 in unemployment benefits from the Washington State Employment Security Department, ESD. Abidemi Rufai, a.k.a. Sandy Tang, 42, of Lekki, Nigeria, made his initial appearance Saturday, May 15, 2021 in New York. He's scheduled for a detention hearing Wednesday. The criminal complaint alleges that Rufai used the stolen identities of more than 100 Washington residents to file fraudulent claims with ESD for pandemic-related unemployment benefits. Rufai also filed fraudulent unemployment claims with Hawaii, Wyoming, Massachusetts, Montana, New York, and Pennsylvania. Rufai used variations of a single email address in a manner intended to evade automatic detection by fraud systems. By using this practice, Rufai made it appear that each claim was connected with a different email account. End quote. AKA Sandy Tang. So basically, they caught him allegedly using a woman's identity. Well, several women and men. Sandy Tang. Now, this is a serving aide to a serving governor. Last week, it was a former LCDA vice chairman from here in Lagos arrested at MMA with 1 kilogram of cocaine. His name is Ashekunkeide Sakiru from Lagos Island East. And he was arrested last week in Lagos, a former vice chairman. Now, these are just the most recent two. Remember that we had late Senator Buriji Kashamu, whom the FBI said was wanted for drug-related crimes as well. In fact, when Obasanjo mentioned it in his book, Kashamu went to court to stop the publication, but the court ruled against him. Do you remember? And these are not the only ones. So it raises a question. It raises a very important question. How rampant is criminality among the Nigerian political class? These are our lawmakers. These are our executives. These are their aides. Should we be alarmed that so many of them get implicated in international crimes? Or are these just a few exceptions? Are these few the exception? Is there something about Nigerian politics that attracts criminal elements or encourages politicians to get involved in crimes? Or is this a global phenomenon? Women, call me on 01465-7190. 01465-7190. Men, call me on 0700-993-993-993. I'm going to take WhatsApp messages in a bit. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. 080-959-75805. Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. Hello, thank you for calling. Sorry about that. We've got Emmanuel in Ikeja on the line. Hello, Emmanuel, who's a first-time caller. Emmanuel, hello.
Hello, Sandra.
Thank you for calling.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Is everything okay there? There's a lot of noise.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me, Emmanuel?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, all right, go ahead.
Yes, I want to speak on El-Rufai.
Yes, please, go ahead.
All right. I like El-Rufai says he wants to retrace them because they are not productive. Isn't it? Who make them not to be productive? Is it not the same politicians that make them not to be productive? If today, Sandra, I want to ask you, if Nigeria Info is not paying your salary as when due, will you be doing what you are doing?
Yes.
These state governors, are they paying these people as when due? That's the question we should ask. We should ask El-Rufai. You are not paying people as when due. You owe them 6 months, 12 months, and you are expecting them to be productive. This is just unaccepted. To me, I just believe you just want to use it to just siphon money for the remaining 2 years for him.
Do you have proof of that?
The proof?
You have proof?
Why didn't he do it in the last 6 years? Is it today that he's in the office?
Yeah, but that's not proof enough that he wants to siphon the money, Emmanuel. But thank you very much for calling. Yami in Ogun State, hello. Hello, Yami.
Hello,
thanks for calling.
Sandra.
Hi.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You see, the problem I have with these people is that they are in charge of the so-called money that we do not get to spend. And this man is an aide to the governor, so definitely he's earning his salary. And the pictures that surfaced online show his well-to-do. So this whole thing with... Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. So this whole thing with...
Yeah, so this whole thing with frauding people. And from what I read online, he used these people's social numbers to collect their pay. I mean, people work day and night, and at the end of the day, you get all the money. You see, my joy from this whole thing is that they didn't catch him in Nigeria. So I'm very sure this is not settled under the carpet. So I really hope he gets what it deserves. That is wickedness. Thank you very much.
Yemi from Ogun State, thank you very much for calling. You know, the last caller, Emmanuel, was saying, the government isn't paying salaries. If you're not paying salaries, how do you expect people to be productive? And some would argue, and I'm curious what you will say to this argument, some will argue that government owes salaries because the civil service is too big, and so it's necessary to cut down the size. What do you say to that? Let me go to WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. Sandra, where do you think these Nigerian politicians get money to run for elections? They are former Yahoo boys that come into government. Francis, thanks for your message. We've got... Femi from Ikotum, who says, it is clear to everyone now that APC, including El-Rufai, are a bunch of hypocrites. El-Rufai participated in almost every protest during Jonathan, but now he doesn't want people to show their displeasure, even when the workers are being beaten by him. Quite unfortunate. All right, we've got more messages. Let's take a look at some of them. Sandra, good afternoon. El-Rufai. So sacking thousands of lower earners is not economic sabotage, but the NLC fighting for the rights of workers that earn lower amounts in the state, that is sabotaging the economy of the state. He should rethink. If not, he might have himself to blame in the future. That's a message from Ken. Thank you, Ken. Thank you very much for your message. We've got somebody who says the arrest in America shows the quality of our politicians. We've got Tony from Arekpo who says, please, ECOWAS movement is only 90 days. After these days, you find a visa for stay in that country. All right. Tony from Arekpo, thank you for contributing. We've got more people who are sending us messages. Benjamin Ezenwoke says, Governor El-Rufai is the clear picture of President Buhari. Whoever goes against him will be arrested. All right, then. Okay. Let me go to Twitter where we have some messages as well. John Bosco Welemighty says, for the interest of the North, they should be banning open grazing by all means possible. After all, some stakeholders in the North have called for this move for there to be a ban on open grazing. But I'm not a Northerner, so it's their choice to make. Okay. Thank you very much for your message. Alexandria says NLC is on point. It's high time people begin to show government that we put them in political office where they occupy today. It's our duty to make demands for people we put in power, and it's their duty to do our demands. All right, we've got time to take one final message, and I'm going to go to Facebook for that message. Peters Okenyi De Rock says they hate police, they hate pastors, they hate churches, but they celebrate crime and criminality. That's why most Nigerians hate police, but celebrate crime and criminality. Criminality among our leaders is alarming and worrisome. All right, that's all the time we have. We've got to let you speak with some of our partners from now until 4, and then we'll bring you Community Report. Don't go away.
Center for Disease Control on Thursday reported 790 new cases.
We're going to talk about the new independent political movement that launched yesterday and says it wants to reform the constitution.
Tune in every weekday and weekends for the best radio programming.
Then again, he found something condemnable. I'm talking about how they've been observed.
Hello and good day.